Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be answering a question from a beautiful soul who asks, how frequently do you suffer from episodes and what are your triggers? So I'll start with talking a bit about my triggers. For hypomania, I find that anything that disrupts my sleep or is very energizing and activating tends to cause more hypomania for me. So staying up late will trigger hypomania because the less sleep I get, the less sleep I need. Things like vigorous exercise will trigger hypomania for me, especially if I do it in the evening. That will disrupt my sleep and also be very activating and energizing and make me more hypomanic. I used to play soccer in the evenings and that would trigger a lot of hypomania for me. One, because I was staying up late, and two, because it was very energizing. So even after my game, I would find it very hard to wind down and fall asleep. I also find socializing triggers my hypomania. So if I go to a party, I'll usually become hypomanic from that. And again, if that's in the evening, like a dinner party, that'll disrupt my sleep and also be very energizing and make it difficult for me to settle down, go to bed, and both of those things combined will trigger hypomania for me. In terms of depression, the things that trigger my depression are inactivity and oversleeping. So if I'm not getting out of the house, getting out of bed, socializing, doing things I enjoy, I start to become more and more inactive, and that will lead to a depression spiral. I also have to be careful not to oversleep. If I don't sleep enough, that'll trigger hypomania, but if I sleep too much, I'll start feeling very lethargic, I'll start not wanting to get out of bed, and that'll trigger depression for me.
Then there are, of course, triggers that are just entirely out of my control, mainly the state of the world as it is, living under capitalism, which doesn't value human life, living under rising global fascism, the climate catastrophe, multiple genocides going on. These are all things that really negatively impact my mental health and really cause me to fall into a depression spiral, as I'm sure it does for a lot of people. I think it's important to remember that mental health is not a personal responsibility. So while I try to avoid my triggers and to take care of myself as best I can, there are systems in place, there are systemic injustices that make it very difficult to live and very difficult to have good mental health. My mental health is inextricably linked to the world I live in. And while I believe it's my responsibility to fight as hard as I can to change this world, it's really difficult when the conditions of capitalism make life almost impossible.
And now to talk about how frequently I suffer episodes. So I used to have the most frequent episodes before I was medicated. I would cycle through hypomania and depression a couple times a year. Once I got on medication, I stopped having frequent episodes, but my episodes were very, very long. So my manic episode lasted 3 years, and then my depressive episode after that lasted another 2 to 3 years. Even the recent hypomania that I've been in has been pretty much consistent since 2024, just the same hypomanic episode. I don't count it as different episodes because it's felt pretty continuous. So my episodes just last a very long time, but I don't really cycle through them that frequently. So in the last year, I would say I've had this one long hypomanic episode and maybe like 2 periods of a couple months long of depression. But I'm really happy to say that recently I haven't been having any episodes. I came off one of my medications, started a new medication, titrated the doses up and down, and since then I haven't been having any hypomania. The hypomania that I've been experiencing since 2024 has settled down. I feel very, very stable. I still have days where I feel down, but for the most part, I'm not getting depressed. And I've been sleeping again, which has been so nice to have that symptom of hypomania go away. And so with these medication changes, I've been feeling so incredibly stable. I'm not really having episodes anymore. Even my triggers are not that triggering anymore. I am able to stay up late a couple of times a week, and that doesn't cause hypomania. I've been exercising again, and that hasn't been triggering any hypomania. And although the state of the world gets me really down, I don't feel like I'm spiraling into a depressive episode where I can't get out of bed and I can't take action. So overall, things are going really well. The episodes have calmed down. I am very, very stable now, alhamdulillah, and my triggers are not really affecting me. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.